Hello everybody. Today, continuing that theme from the stream yesterday, literally just gonna run one like raid and just keep doing it on all my characters. Obviously I did Onyxia already once on Boris yesterday, but gonna try it on both my other characters today. Hopefully we get something. If not, I do have a plan to do a bunch of other stuff. Finishing the Argent Crusade stuff on Boris, probably. That should be like a guaranteed mount or two over there. Maybe some more stuff over in Legion. Still need to clear out the rest of those, like, rare spawns that I haven't got mounts from. Did go around before the stream and do some stuff on Isle of Giants. I think I'm like halfway to the White Raptor or whatever now. I think I've got like 5,000 dinosaur bones-ish. So hopefully have that one soon as well. Should be like bang on target for 200 mounts for Shadowlands easily. The only thing holding me back is like the rare spawns and boss drops now, really. Like the major areas I'm still lacking a few in. Yeah, should be good. Hopefully the Zelda music isn't super loud. Apparently I had this saved in a playlist somewhere for ages. And I don't know why, and I don't know when I added it to a playlist, but it's been sat there in there for like a year, I think. It's just... I don't know why. It's just in my watch later. There's a bunch of random stuff I found in my watch later. I was looking through it yesterday, because I decided to just like chill out for an evening and just watch some like YouTube and stuff on the TV, and switched my PlayStation background to not have HD CP or whatever, or turn that back on, whichever way around it is. It's a weird setting on the PlayStation. You have to turn it off in order to like capture it with a capture card or whatever. It's like a protection thing that Sony have on video sites and streaming things. So if you have that turned off, you can't open like Netflix or YouTube or anything. You can only open games. And I can very much see why they have that there and why they need it. But it's a little irritating having to constantly open up the settings menu and change things. At least it's not as bad as how it was during the PS2 era, where you have to completely change video settings, otherwise you can't see the screen. So if you can't see the screen and you change video settings, you just have to do it blind or look up the exact button presses in sequence that you need to do in order to change the settings. I remember doing that when I bought a second-hand PS2, which I haven't really used as much as I should have done, really. I got it so I could play all the like old school games I missed out on. Because I think I've mentioned before in streams, I didn't really get into games in general until like Halo 3. Like I'd played Pokemon on the Game Boy and stuff, but nothing really major. So when, you know, hit Halo 3 and stuff, I wanted to go back and play stuff before it. Like I've gone back and played all the previous Halo games. So I wanted to play all the old like Metal Gear and stuff. Because I've played the more recent one. Well, both the recent ones, both the versions of 5. Because they did... was the main one, and then there was Ground Zeroes or whatever, the like prequel mini-game thing before it. I really enjoyed both of those, and I know from like studying some of this stuff and having to research Metal Gear and stuff at different times, that obviously the originals are very different from the new ones, but I still wanted to give it a go. I still wanted to see exactly what it was like. I could do that on stream at some point, hopefully. I need to like check all the cables are in the right place and stuff. It's been a while since I've used it. Yeah, I've got all those that are on the PS2, Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3, I think it is. The one I'm missing is 4, which I have watched someone else play 4, because that game is just like 8 hours of cutscenes and like 20 minutes of gameplay. Like, it's a weird setup, but it's kind of cool. All of Kojima's stuff is a little bit weird, but it's not weird in a bad way, if that makes sense. Like, it's just kind of very unique, generally. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn, that needs turning down. Good damn Zelda. But yeah, I've read one of his GDDs, which is like the game design document thing. Or I think it was Metal Gear 2. And that's a strange read if you wanna really get to see how Kojima's mind works. It's a strange place. Really cool though. Like, genuinely. Guy comes up with a lot of really innovative stuff. Like, especially looking back at like Metal Gear 1 and all the weird different things you have to do in that, like unplugging a controller and putting it in the other port to fight a boss and stuff. Like, it's stuff that probably wouldn't be done nowadays because it would like impact immersion and stuff, right? Whereas back during like the sort of earlier years of gaming, it wasn't really much of a concern. It was just making a game as interesting as possible. Which I feel like you can see reflected in a lot of early works and stuff, like the gigantic UIs and things like that. Like WoW especially, it's kind of a product of its time as well. Like, the game isn't super immersive, but it's still fun to play. I feel like immersion has become kind of this buzzword that everyone focuses on. I mean, even I did when I was designing some... well, when I was making some games, to be honest. The horror game I made, that was... sorry. The horror game I made was like entirely focused around that like immersion factor and thing, and not having like any sort of UI elements, and trying to display those pieces of information to the player without having like intrusive elements that would pull them out of the game. I feel like things like Halo kind of do it in a really good way. A lot of games have copied that as well, but like the idea of having an actual HUD because you're, you know, a super soldier or whatever, like you're wearing a helmet that has a heads-up display on it. So it allows them to have all those UI elements without necessarily impacting upon immersion because it fits with the character and the design. A lot of games are moving towards that, like, very minimal UI, everything displayed on the character in some way. Dead Space did it really well, where, like, the health is on your back. Which is something I tried to replicate in my game, where the, obviously, the gun had an ammo counter on it, kind of like it does in Halo. And then next to that there was a bar, which gradiented from, like, green to red, which was then, like, a display of your health. It's this way. Yeah. It's a weird thing that games have become focused on. I mean, the point of it is that people get super invested in something that they're immersed in because they feel like they're a part of the story more and they're not taken out of it by different things. Which is, I think, a thing early games weren't afraid to do. Which allowed them to do weird and wacky stuff like Metal Gear does and other games too. In a more Marvel Avengers sort of related news, I just saw the trailer for it, weirdly, which I think it's supposed to come out like next week, maybe the week after. I just saw the first trailer for it that I've ever seen, apart from like that original like teaser trailer that came out years ago. And it actually looks good. Like, the story looks interesting, and I kind of want to play it more now. Which sucks, because I'm still kind of the same mindset of it's a little too pricey for what the game currently is. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it, though, because I feel like I compared it a lot to Destiny. I don't know if I ever did that on stream, or it was just when I was talking to someone else. But I feel like if it acts in the same way Destiny did, over time the game improved and they added more and more stuff to it. So if they do the same thing with it, then, like, maybe 3 months after launch, it'll be genuinely worth the money. But we'll see. It depends how long it takes them to add a lot of the improvements, I guess. 3 months is kind of an early estimate, but I just really want to play it. To be fair, 3 months would be a good goal for them. If they can hit it without going into, like, super heavy crunch time. Of, like, vastly improving the variety within the gameplay. In 3 months, because then that would set them up directly for, like, a Christmas massive sale and just getting a crap load of money in. Which means they can then develop more, which would be great. And then, in related news to all that, like, superhero stuff, just sat and watched the rest of the DC fandom panel thing that happened. That I literally didn't get, like, any adverts for until the day after, and then I opened my Instagram and every single post was DC, like, we're doing this today, here's all the panels, here's all the times. It's like, cool, that's 24 hours too late there, bud, but thanks for trying. Yeah, finally got through all those trailers. Genuinely excited for both the Batman and the new Suicide Squad. I think they both look really good. The Batman especially. I think Suicide Squad is going to be funny. It's got a lot of comedians in it, which should hopefully set it up to be funny. But it's not always a good recipe, as we've seen previously with different films. Hopefully it's really good, because it's got James Gunn behind it, who's usually pretty good, especially doing comedy stuff. It's got a giant cast of interesting people that they're probably going to kill off 90% of. I feel like there's a lot of room to work there, and the setting they're going for, with like it being almost like a war film, seems kind of cool. I feel like it'd be interesting. And the Batman one looks really good. Like the whole kind of even more gritty than the like Nolan stuff was. Looks really cool. I really like his suit design. I feel like the only thing I don't like about his Bruce is his weird hair, but that's fine. He's got weird hair, that's a style. I mean, I'm assuming 90% of the film he's gonna be, you know, in the cowl anyway, so it doesn't really matter if his hair's a bit weird.
I'm out of rage.
Yeah, the whole thing they're setting up with, like... It feels like it's just gonna be the Riddler as, like, the main villain and everyone else is sort of a surrounding threat that probably builds together towards the end. Since it's supposed to be, like, Batman Year 2 or whatever, so he's, like, he's not just started out. It's still very early days, like, his suit is still kind of cobbled together. Stuff, so a lot of these villains, like, haven't quite reached their peak either. Be interesting to see them evolve. I think the major worry is just if they can actually fit all of this stuff in within like a 2-hour film. It's kind of the same thing with Suicide Squad, but obviously, you know, with that, they're just going to kill off 90% of them. But it seems like this Batman film has a lot of villains. Ah, damn it. That literally took 15 minutes to run that twice. I was expecting this to take longer, with like all the flights over here and stuff, but no, that went pretty fast. Well, I guess we can go hop on over to Boris and see what's gone over there. I do feel a little bit dead today for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I'm sort of half conscious. Really weird. I guess because I've been getting really back, like, I've been getting back into my routine really well and settling into that. And basically I get up, like, super early. Get up, just throw on some clothes and go out for like a 2-mile walk, come back and then, you know, actually get dressed and ready for the day. And today, because it was pouring it down when I woke up, I just turned my alarm off and went back to bed because I knew I wasn't going to go out walking in it. And I think that's just kind of thrown me off altogether, and so I'm still like half asleep because I didn't wake up when I was supposed to. My body's kind of rebelling against that for some weird reason. It's not fun. Really tiring, to be honest. So I might... It depends how, like, into stuff I get, but I might end up just cutting this one short. Oh, shorter than normal. Anyway. We usually go for a couple hours, if not 3. That Shadowlands stream I did, the first one, was like almost 3 hours. I didn't even realise because I was just enjoying playing it so much. And I'm sure half of that was just playing through Exile's Reach. Which I still really like. I think Exile's Reach is such a cool idea that they're doing. Like, when they first announced it, I was like, why do we need a tutorial now? Like, the game is, like, what, 15 years old? Everyone who's playing the game, surely they've played, but no, there's still new people coming in. There's still new people trying it out. Obviously, WoW's this, like, big name in the industry still, even after all these years, so... Obviously, you've got new people trying it out. I didn't really try it out until Cataclysm, and then I didn't really enjoy it until I came back years later. And then I dropped out of it during BFA, and then came back basically at the end of BFA. So it's, people are coming in and out of the game at all times, so having like a tutorial that can just walk them through how to play their class, how to play the game and stuff is a really cool idea. It'd be nice to see more stuff like Exile's Reach, or even that idea, I think it was Talzin or someone like that came up with the idea, the curated system for the quest lines. So it actually walks you through the main story of each expansion rather than you just like battling through the zones and then you leave at the end of it. Story completely unresolved. Having like an actual curation system that walks you through and takes you through everything, and it's like fully voice acted and everything would be great. So one of the things I really loved about Exile's Reach was the fact that all these characters had voice lines. It wasn't like playing through some of the older content where it's just text appearing in boxes. I don't mind having to read the quest text and stuff, like that's fine. I actually kind of liked having to read the quests and stuff for daily quests here at the Argent Crusade and stuff. That's not the issue, it's the fact that when you give those characters an actual voice, it adds so much more personality to them. You can, if they're around for long enough, you can almost become attached to them because you recognise their voice, you know who their character are and what they're going to be doing. It can get you more invested in these characters and therefore more interested to see more of them. It would be cool to see the Exile's Reach people like pop up more.
Need help?
Considering you like, you know, escape Exile's Reach or whatever with all those guys that you went there with. So. There's no reason they couldn't just bring them back at other times because they're all technically alive in the storyline as far as I'm aware. Obviously the best time to bring them back would have been BFA, considering Exile's Reach is essentially the prequel to BFA. they kind of missed that mark already because they're a bit late for that one. But they could always bring them back in Shadowlands. Or even just, like, bring them into parts of the storyline for BFA. I don't think it would be that hard for them to, like, weave them into different areas. It would also add some more variety to, like, quest givers and people who are talking to you all the time. Rather than just Magni constantly. This Zelda music is super chill. I really need to get back to playing the Zelda games, because I started playing through all those as well, because Breath of the Wild was the first one I'd ever played. I think Mog's got me one of them for a birthday or a Christmas once. But I want to get back to finishing those off at some point. I think I picked up another one as well at some point because it was on sale. Because I think most of them now are on, like, well, they ported most of them onto, like, 2DS or 3DS or whatever. That, like, era of Nintendo handhelds. Pretty sure I can't play those on stream. Don't think. Wait, did they just... Ah, okay. I'm just gonna assume I got my Mark of Honor, but... I don't know, she like quit for some reason. Why? Did she like run too far away from me and therefore exit the like combat? I mean, this is broken anyway with the like stupid amount of health you have now, you just do that constantly. Goddamn cheating elves, just running away all the time. Yeah, I think it was Ocarina of Time was the one I started. We have to remember all the like songs to do different stuff. It's a cool idea, to be fair. It's almost like memorizing combos and stuff in fighting games. Except it's like a combo to summon your horse or like calm a creature or whatever. I can actually skip the Grand Melee? Or I can skip another one. I can skip one of them, I guess. Let's just do all of them, may as well. A little bit of Argent Crusade. I actually really like these Silver Covenant quests. They add a nice little bit of variety to everything else. Oh cool, Hermes just texted me to tell me my my parcel is on the way. That was delivered about 4 hours ago. Good good timing there, Hermes. I've had that before. I don't know if it was with Hermes or someone else, but like, they deliver the parcel and then it's like 4 or 5 hours later, they're like, oh yeah, your parcel's out for delivery.
Can I help you? Farewell.
Yep, it is. It's in my hands. So weird. I guess it's just a matter of like drivers not ticking off a thing or whatever that's like, yeah, this thing is on the way or whatever. I mean, everything's kind of slow at the minute, so I can hardly blame them for it. Imagine delivery services are probably one of the like the things that's really thriving right now with everything going on. Because I mean, I've used them a lot more. It's like, oh, I could go out for this unnecessary item, or I could just order it and it gets delivered and I just have to clean it when it gets here and then it's safe. I imagine they're probably getting a lot of service from a lot of other people at this time. Which ones do we got up here? Oh. Oh. Okay. There's another quest that I haven't done before. Also, can you just go away? I don't... Okay. Converted heroes... Ah, what's this other quest then? Where is it? Oh, it's the Jormungandr thing. Go kill worms for eggs. Yeah, I like all these Silver Covenant quest lines. I didn't even realize this place was here until I started doing this. Just a whole island filled with all this like Viking stuff, and there's the like walrus dudes around here. They've all been murdered. Circling back round to something I was talking about a little bit back now. The whole Avengers thing. I feel kind of bad for them because they're bringing it out at a really kind of unfortunate time. I mean, they've got a year before the first of the DC games comes out, but there's 2 DC games that are kind of the same thing coming out one after the other. Like, one's in 2021, the other's 2022. They're basically the same thing. And given the fact that the Arkham series is generally really, really good, apart from, like, one game-breaking bug in Origins, Knight being a little buggy when it came out, but that all got remedied eventually. They're coming up against some steep competition. So I really do hope they find ways to improve and add more variety into their game, because it genuinely will be really good if they do it right. I know a lot of people, well, I saw a lot of people in the Steam reviews complaining about lack of variety in terms of the actual, like, play styles between them, and I completely disagree with that already. I genuinely think all of them play in very different ways. And you're going to enjoy some of those characters far more than you're going to enjoy others. Like, Hulk is really slow and sluggish, but he's, like, super tanky, and he has, like, a leech ability type thing that you can activate. Where the more you're hitting things, the more you're healing, so you keep yourself alive by just, like, berserker raging through everything. I should probably clear everything over here, actually. I'll do that one after. Just hand stuff in, actually. I'm kind of in a weird... As I mentioned, kind of half asleep, so I'm just kind of drifting from one objective to the next currently. There we go. Yeah, Hulk plays like a, you know, big sluggish tank, which makes sense as the Hulk. You got Iron Man, who's really quick and flies around, which is genuinely my favourite character from playing it. He's just really fun how quickly you can go from like zipping around the battle arena basically to just fisticuff fighting someone and you just fly back up into the air again. Genuinely so much fun playing as him. And you've got Widow, who's all like acrobatic and all about dodging and grappling onto people and stuff. It feels... The WoW comparison to that would be like a survival hunter. You're just like swinging yourself around the arena, beating the crap out of people. Pretty fun. And Kamala's like a kind of a nice blend between Hulk and Widow. Like, she's got some acrobatic stuff with obviously her, like, elasticated arms, and she can, like, pull herself around and stuff. But then she's also one of the big heavy hitters, like Hulk. And from what I've played of the storyline, probably gonna be, like, the center of that story. Which is good, because she's genuinely one of the most fun characters to play. Really like playing as Miss Marvel and Iron Man the most, I think. Although the characters I really want to play as are Thor and Cap, who play, again, very differently to all those other characters. Like, they play almost like an Arkham game, like Cap especially. And Thor's like a nice mix between that and God of War, with his whole hammer thing. Which I still need to play, that God of War game. I've got it, I just haven't got around to it yet. I would stream that, but I'm not sure how well that's going to hold up. Considering what happened during the Avengers stream, where you can still tell what's happening in that, but there's like a weird... I can't quite put my finger on it, but it feels like there's this sort of weird hit rate issue going on with it, almost. There's all the stuttering and stuff, but that was, I think, mostly just due to the beta being kind of a little bit unoptimized currently. Which is another thing I hope they fix. Because I do want to play it eventually, so just gonna keep an eye on it and give them time to like fix stuff. See how the final product comes out, I guess. The story looks really interesting. I think that's going to be the main focus of the game, at least for me. Because comparing it to Destiny, like I have been doing, that's kind of all I do in Destiny. I play through the main story and then after that I just drop the game. Like, I'm not really there for the whole looter-shooter thing. Like, it's fun enough, but it's not really by itself something that keeps me playing, if that makes sense. Like, especially with Borderlands and stuff. Like, I love those games, but like the first two. But I can't replay them because I played them for the story and the characters and just the dumb stuff that happens, but I've seen it all. I know what's going to happen. I know how this is all going to unravel as the thing progresses. A lot of people just get along with the whole like looter shooter thing and like constantly gearing up and getting better and better stuff. But I guess to me, games that have more than that are more interesting and keep me playing for longer. I mean, most of the games in my top 5 are all like story-centric. That makes sense? Like, Bioshock Infinite. I love that game because of its story. Because of this, like, the ideas and stuff it explores. And the relationships between the characters that you see develop as, you know, the story goes on, the game progresses. And it helps that the combat is pretty fun, I admit. The whole, what was it called? The hook thing that you used to, like, jump around the city was really cool. It made gameplay, like, really fluid, and then the whole thing of Elizabeth actually being... which one do I need for that? Oh, it's the frogs. Okay. Yeah, the whole thing of Elizabeth essentially being... The whole game is an escort mission, right? But she's an actual useful NPC that helps you out. She, like, throws you ammunition and health packs and stuff. Like, she actually does stuff other than just running around and waiting for you to protect them. Like, she's actually doing things within the world around you. That's really cool. And Horizon Zero Dawn, again, love the story and the world and stuff they created around that. And all the different, like, tribes and things that had evolved since, like, the fall of humanity and stuff. Seeing those, like, post-apocalyptic things and different ways people interpret the potential future is really interesting. I mean, to me, at least. And obviously, the gameplay in that is also really fun, but the story is the thing that gripped me to it. The gameplay, at the end of the day, is kind of just the same thing as, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? Combat's pretty much the same at its core. It's just a very, very different setting with a really cool, interesting storyline. I think it's one of the things that also drew me into Dark Souls to the degree I was into that game. Like, Dark Souls 1, always going to be one of my favourite games. Like, the level design in that game is goddamn beautiful. I will always love that game and I'll happily go back and play that whenever. At one point I was actually using it as like a tool to relax. I know that's really weird because Dark Souls is generally quite frustrating. But I know the layout and I know where everything is to the degree in Dark Souls 1 where I can just walk through that and kind of just relax and remember things, and it's just like a nice, I can sort of take it slow and just enjoy everything about it. But that game also has like a really interesting like backstory and lore and story and stuff. Like, it's not told in the same way of like a regular game is, where you're just given all the plot through cutscenes and talking to characters and whatever. Like, to learn about the world you have to learn item descriptions and then compare those to other item descriptions and stuff. It's this really weird way where in order to dig into the lore you actually have to go and dig into the lore. Like, it's not just presented to you, it's not given to you in a book or a cutscene or whatever. Like, you actually have to go out of your way to find out and theorize stuff. I genuinely think that's really cool, and it's one of the reasons I love that game. Weirdly thinking about it, Half-Life 2 is probably the one that, looking back on it, probably has the weakest story, especially because I'd never played Half-Life 1 when I played Half-Life 2. But it was this weird alien world that you were kind of dropped into, and you kind of just had to figure things out as you went. But I think the reason that's always going to be one of my favourites is because it was the first, like, proper single-player experience I'd played by myself. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Of, like, I'd played Halo in co-op, I'd played Gears in co-op. I'd never really sat down and played a game completely single player before, other than, like, you know, Pokemon, which again does not count. So I have a lot of, I don't know, attachment to that game and that property, I guess, because of that. I did eventually get really interested in the whole world and stuff, and I've gone back since and played Half-Life 1. And having the context of Half-Life 1 on top of that does make the story far more interesting. Because then you know, you're not just waking up in this strange alien world, you've actually seen how the world fell apart and the fact, you know, your role that you played in that. It's cool. In a weird way, I kind of hope they don't do a Half-Life 3. Like, yeah, it would be cool to see more of that world, more of that universe, more of those characters, especially with updated stuff, but at the same time, leaving that world unanswered. You know, who is the G-Man? Why is he here? Why is he doing the things he's doing? Just leaving that ambiguous. I think makes that world more interesting, and especially makes that character more interesting, because nobody really knows why he's there, why he showed up, why he did the things he's done, why he's shaping the world in the way he is. He is this sort of omnipresent force that's just sort of around, and he's there at like every sort of pivotal moment. But no one really knows why he's doing any of it. And you know, why he's keeping you around and using you specifically to sort of fulfill these tasks and objectives. In a weird way, I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to just leave that open-ended like it is. Because then it just leaves that area of speculation of why are they doing these things, and allows you to create those theories in kind of the same way that the Dark Souls stuff does, right? Like, there's big points in like the Dark Souls lore of like, this is definitively what happened here, here, and here. But then everything in between those points is like theories and speculation and stuff that connect those two things together. And I really don't mind having more of that. Yeah, I always struggle to pick my like final game in my top 5, to be honest. Because there are a lot of games that I really like and really enjoyed. But in a weird way, some of them I feel like I can't go back and play again, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel like my favourite games are games that I can go back and play again. Even though I know what the story is, even though I know what's going to happen. Like in the sense of Dark Souls, right? I can sit down and play that game again and again and again. And I love it every time. Whereas like Mass Effect 2, again, a game that I really like, but I can't play past the like Garrus mission. I get to that point, I'm like, I can't be bothered. Just every time, I think I've started like 5 characters to try and replay it and see all the endings, and just, nope. That's not happening. I think I picked it up again on PC at some point as well. I think I got some mods on it. Oh, I tried to find mods for it because it's an EA game. There's not a lot. It's mostly just, do you want to make the characters not have clothes? No, not really. I just want to play the game but with some dumb crap in it. It's generally what I use mods for. But no, here we go. That's your selection. I think there were some cool like armor retextures and stuff for different characters as well. It wasn't just all make Miranda not have clothes. But that did seem to be a big portion of what was on the net, like the Nexus. Disappointingly, it's generally what it is for most games too. It's a shame there's not more like modders for these weird, like obscure games. I say obscure, they're definitely not obscure, but you know, they don't attract the same like modding community as like Skyrim or Halo. Or the Fallout series, to be honest. Yeah, Halo's got like Inferno Plus and all those guys, and Skyrim's got all those big name modders that have been around for ages, creating like entire games within Skyrim itself. Fallout has the same thing. And I mean, that's down to the fact that Bethesda just give modders the tools to do all of that stuff. And the big name guys just take it a step further generally. I think that requires a little more passion and effort on the community standpoint. Did I just pick up a leather piece that I... Okay. Oh. Send that over to my druid, I guess. It's a purple that I can actually transfer. Is mad. I could bring all of my guys down here, thinking about it. I could just send them all over to there and try and run for the mount on my other characters. If I use that 110 boost on my my other hunter, I can run it with him as well, thinking about it. I'm curious with those boosts. I don't know how they work because I've never used them. Whether or not you get thingy, like gear and stuff scaled up. Whether it scales up the gear you have to the level you go to, or whether you know, jump to 110 but you have level 40 gear. Which would be a little difficult to deal with, I'll be honest. All this piano music also reminds me of Westworld. I still haven't seen the latest season of that, actually. The first season was really good, the second season was a bit all over the place. And I haven't seen the third season. I hope it's good. I haven't seen it, I haven't looked at reviews, I haven't watched trailers or anything, I just like... I watched the first trailer and then just left it there. Which I do a lot with stuff now, because I don't want to like... spoil myself of anything. Best example I can bring up in terms of spoiling stuff from trailers is like the Star Wars stuff. Like that big reveal of Maul having the double-ended lightsaber back in the day. They just spoiled that like big reveal of there's other types of lightsaber. And they fight in very different ways, and like all that whole thing, they just spoiled that. And there was another trailer, I don't know if it was a Star Wars or something else, where they just straight up told you the plot of the film and what was going to happen in the trailer, and it's like, well, what's the point in watching the film now? I've seen it all in the 2 minutes you gave me as a trailer. So I like to just go in mostly blind with stuff now. Marvel do a really good job with their trailers where they will edit things out of the trailer. Or they change things in the trailer, so like, you know, certain characters or items will be removed or added in. So you can't actually tell what's going to happen based on the trailer. Exactly. You can get some idea, obviously that's kind of the point of a trailer, to get you, like, in to watch it. Whereas that does a good job of, like, not quite telling you everything. While still advertising everything to you, which is really good. Sorry, I just kind of was replying to emails for a minute there. And stuff. Yeah, what was on about? Film trailers? But yeah, I generally watch, like, the first trailer. Like, I'll watch the teaser, obviously, and then the first actual trailer, and then I'll leave it at that. Sometimes, if I know I'm gonna watch it anyway, like if it's a sequel or like a follow-on thing to something else that I, you know, really like, so I know I'm gonna watch the next one anyway, I'll just watch the teaser. And then not actually watch the main trailer so I don't get spoiled of anything at all. I'm just going out completely blind. But I know there's a lot of people who love, like, picking apart trailers to find all those, like, tiny little Easter eggs and stuff beforehand. And I used to. I still do sometimes, but very rarely now. Used to do it a lot for, like, the Marvel films and stuff. Mostly because in a lot of those videos you also get, like, the breakdowns of the, like, the stories that have inspired this film or whatever. And those are cool, because you get more, like, background information on a character and stuff. And they're villains if it's some, like, weird, you know, character that had, it's not a popular one, like a random off villain or whatever. I probably would have benefited from it, like, during those early MCU films. Because I definitely had not read an Iron Man comic. I still haven't, to be honest. I'd seen, like, the old animated series when I was young. But that was mostly him fighting some, like, tornado dude or something and the Mandarin, and that was it. I had no idea who Warmonger was and Whip Boy, whatever his name is, from the second film, because I had no idea about, like, any of his rogues gallery at all. It was interesting learning about them afterwards. So, I don't know. I don't feel like my new stance on, like, film trailers really stops me from enjoying that side of it anyway, because I can still just watch and research and do all that stuff afterwards. Pardon me, and like, dig into all that lore and stuff that's behind all the characters that Marvel have built up over, like, 50 years or whatever. Probably longer at this point, actually. I also did see Angry Joe's video just before I went live about the new DC games on this, like, same comic book track we're on. And yeah. He's real mad about the fact they're still not getting a Superman game for those people who are really hardcore Superman fans. It's just unfortunate. They're kind of in this weird catch-22 situation where if they want to get a Superman game, they've got to keep supporting the Warner Brothers game properties, but that means keep supporting Batman games, which then means Warner Brothers are going to keep making Batman games. But if they don't support the games, they're maybe not going to do any more games, because they can just move all their budget into other things that are more profitable. There's this weird situation where you have to support the Batman games in order to maybe get a Superman game, but you maybe also just get more Batman. Oh, I have to do the champion thing. Okay. But yeah, as a fan of just like comic book stuff in general, I don't really mind which one I get more stuff for. I'm just happy to have more of whatever. I don't have to ride the thing, do I? Okay, cool. I'm sure I don't have to ride the specific mount for this, I can't remember. Yeah, it's just a general comic book fan. It's kind of just nice having more comic book games. It's nice to see Warner Brothers like expanding it out and doing multiple releases of the same sort of thing. Now they know that, like, you know, Arkham is successful. It is kind of weird that that new, like, Batman game, the Arkham Knights or whatever, Gotham Knights, isn't a sequel to Arkham Knight. Because the way the plot is set up in that, it feels like it's a direct sequel. Because at the end of Knights, a little bit of spoilers, Batman, like, fakes his death and becomes, like, a new version of the Batman, essentially. He uses the, like, Scarecrow toxin to, like, just petrify all the criminals. So it feels like the, you know, Gotham Knights should follow on directly, because the plotline in the trailer is that Batman is dead or faked his death, and the Court of Owls are, like, probably gonna take over Gotham. Although they've always had control of it, whatever, you know. They're doing some bad stuff, so that would kind of make sense that he would fake his death in order to go after them. Sure. But apparently that's not the sequel. Apparently the Suicide Squad game is the sequel, the one where all the Justice League are being controlled by Brainiac and Suicide Squad have to kill them. I don't know, just one of those feels a lot more like a sequel than the other. But, there we go, I guess. Boom. I also get Champion of the Alliance or something? There we go. Exalted Champion of the Alliance. Nice. Is that it? Am I done with all of these? I'd have thought that'd have started like a new quest chain thing on top of this. Fair enough. Let's get that elk. There we go. It's one more mount down. That is probably the better looking one of these I've got in here. Because I'm sure I have... yeah. I have all the basic ones. But to be fair, the Great Purple one isn't that bad. And then the updated, like, WOD version. I'm pretty sure they walk really derpy. From what I remember. I'm sure if I go out here and summon it, like, they walk, because I have, like, mount speed increase. Yeah, they walk really weirdly, because they're, like, sped up, essentially. Kinda strange looking at them, but it looks cool. I like this one. The, like, orange and red theme. It's a good colour scheme. The other thing is, how much is that hippogriff? 150? Damn, we're really close. I mean, I could buy one of their other racial mounts, but I'm not going to. I want to save up for that hippogriff. I really want it. And we are now what, 34 mounts off? 34 tokens off, rather. 13 mounts away. But damn. Doing really well. Mount progress-wise. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind of call it here, though. Like, I'm super tired and my throat's giving in already. We're only an hour in. Apologize for making this one a little shorter than normal. Again, I'm just kind of out of it today. But thank you guys for watching. I've made some progress at least. Hopefully we carry that on. A couple mounts per stream is a pretty good average. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.